So now we're going to talk about how trauma lives in the body. When we think about trauma, many people imagine a memory or an emotion. But realistically, what research shows us is that trauma is also a physical response. It's a physical thing. Real quick, because I can't see you guys, I know, but I'm going to ask everyone to close their eyes for me. Hopefully you are not driving. If you are, please don't close your eyes. But if you're seated wherever you are, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And just real quick, take a deep breath in and out. One more time, deep breath in and out. So I'm going to extend this invitation to you. I want you to think about the last thing that really stressed you out. Like, you know that there's something that can be worked out. You know that maybe the solution will come, but this thing it's really bothering you. And as you're thinking of this thing, I want you to notice what's happening in your body. Notice if there's any sensations that you're feeling on your skin, if the temperature's changing in any way in your system. Maybe there's an emotion that you're starting to feel as you think about this thing that's stressing you out. Notice where that sensation, that emotion, that whatever it may be, notice where it's sitting in your body. And then before I bring you guys back into this space, just a real quick, take another deep breath in, opening up your chest, letting the air get in, and then breathing out. And then one more time, deep breath in, opening up your chest even further, and then deep breath out. So what I want to invite you guys to do, you don't have to share what you saw. But if you actually felt something in your system, like something physical occurred for you, an emotion, a sensation, anything of that nature came up, I just want you to put a yes in the chat. And if you didn't, you could put a no. And as we're doing that, I'm going to share this. The part of the reason that I had you guys do the exercise is because for a lot of us, we have things that bother us. We have things that we experience. But because life is happening, like life is hard. I don't know if it like Nigeria, America is hard too. Please know everybody is struggling. It doesn't matter what continent, country you are in. We all struggling. But we're trying to survive. And because we are trying to survive, it's forcing us to like ignore these things that are happening so that we can continue forward, right? But the problem is, it doesn't change that it's still happening. Our body, our system is requiring, it's like registering all these experiences. It's registering all these things that are happening. And it's making it more difficult for us to keep pushing forward because, as we know, anything that happens or occurs, it's going to be registered. It's going to come back to us at some point or another. Does that make sense? So I just wanted you guys to get a feel for that, right? Because physically, if you can sense it, then you'll get an understanding of why this conversation is so important. So we want people to understand that trauma is not just this mental or emotional experience. It is a full body experience. This means that when something threatening happens, our brain's alarm system goes off. I'll give you a perfect example right now. We're in the middle of this presentation, and I know it's not intentional, but we are in the middle of a presentation. And as I'm talking to you guys, I see things pop up on my screen. My brain is like, oh shit, okay. Can people see this? What am I going to do? Oh my gosh, this isn't going to help me, right? So in my brain, I have my fight flight mechanism going off. Alarm, alarm. How do we stop people from doing this so that people can concentrate and not be distracted? And that's just in the presentation. Now imagine if I'm in Nigeria and I'm stressed about how I'm going to pay the rent for where I want to live. My kids are at home and they're hungry. The salary I just received is already taken up by the bills that I have to pay. And I just don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where's my help going to come from, right? That's something I've heard my mom say. Where will my help come from? And it's just this idea of like, I feel like there's no hope. That is a sensation that I'm feeling in my body. And that means that my brain is saying, okay, is this a scenario where we're going to run? We're going to take off, flight? Is this a situation where we need to fight things out, stand our ground? Is this a situation where we're going to freeze? Like, oh my gosh, I can't move. I'm panic mode. I'm stuck. Or is this something where we're like, we cower into whatever it is that's going on and we fawn and we give in? And that can be like the people pleasing aspect of it. Whatever it is that we end up doing, the idea is that this is our brain's alarm system kicking on. It's activating the signals in our brain, in our body, in our nervous system to prepare us for survival. And this could mean fighting, running away, hiding, anything like that that you heard me say. But what's important for us to understand and to know is that our body can react this way years later, even when the situation is no longer happening. So I could be scared of, let's use an example like something that may happen in Nigeria, a car accident. You may be driving to school, or driving to work, and a bad car accident happens. And you happen to drive past and you actually see the body of the person as you're driving past. In your brain, you are now like, oh crap, I have to take off. I'm in flight mode. This doesn't feel safe. I don't like, I'm scared. I'm shocked. I'm sad. This person is passed. But my body is registering that something bad has happened. Years later, you're completely somewhere different. You are a passenger in the car. Maybe you're not driving, you're on a completely different road. All of a sudden, you feel a sensation, like your hair on your skin starts to stand up. Your heart starts beating a little faster. And you're not quite sure why. Maybe the driver's driving a little reckless, driving a little fast because, Nigeria, y'all speed. I thought I speed, but y'all speed, right? And you got dirt potholes. But now you're in the car and you can feel, you're feeling uncomfortable and you're not sure why. The accident that you saw might have been years ago. But in present day, you're still being impacted by this physically. So we want people to understand that if something reminds you of this original event, this original danger, this original trauma that happened, it doesn't just go away because you talked about it with somebody. It doesn't just go away because you said, the team, no day again. No. I'm fine. Keep going. It doesn't just go away because someone said, stop crying. Will crying bring the person back? It doesn't matter if it brings them back. I'm hurting. And in my body, I feel the hurt. So when we talk about this, we want people to understand you may not be aware that your body is registering what has happened, but it does not mean that your body did not keep score. So I don't know if you guys, there is an American author. Oh, let me not lie. I don't know if he's American or not, but he is an author. He wrote the book, The Body Keeps Score. And the theory behind all of it was pretty much like what we're talking about now, where he referenced the fact that for many of us, our body registers everything that happens. It keeps the receipts. Every impact, every experience, every event, every argument, even the happy stuff, the pleasurable stuff. When you fall in love, when you have a positive exchange with the person, all of these things, good and bad, are registered in the body. So he spoke about that. And then what we see is oftentimes for those of us that have are aware of our body, we start to notice things that happen somatically. So this is where you hear me say people that have a lot of headaches, like stomach aches. Again, I work with kids, so sometimes I'll see a kid complain that their stomach hurts, and then later we find out that really they just have anxiety. But because they have that anxiety, it's always showing up in their body. right? And they always complain about a stomach ache, but they get this stomach ache whenever they're getting ready to go into class because they're nervous about that class. They're worried they're not doing well in that class and they're not going to pass. So this is their body manifesting the very thing that's happening in their head.